Real quick, right before this video starts, I'm gonna let you know right now it's really long and I talk too much, so buckle in your seatbelt. I might repeat myself several times. But yeah, so there you go. Prepare yourself. Almost like a 20-minute video. Sorry. Hi. I'm sure most of you know who I am. I guess first and foremost, don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm just kind of doing this in reflection to our journey into trying to start a family. And I don't know if I want to make this video and make it public, or make it public just for people who have access to it, or maybe just keep it private for myself. But I feel like most people are going to see this. You're going to already know who me and my husband are. And if you don't, for whatever reason, my name is Jocelyn and my husband's name is George or Jorge, whichever one is easier. It's a bad habit. We say that to everybody. But so yeah, we've basically been trying to start a family for well over a year now. And long story short, I have something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. It's very common now among a lot of girls that I'm noticing as I do more research on it, but basically it's kind of like this hormonal issue. It causes issues with like menstrual cycles, it causes issues with weight gain, and it deals with like the hormones that affect like your mental health, and one of the big things is also trying to conceive a child. And that's kind of where we're at this moment. So long story short, we've been trying for over a year. At the 1 year mark, I was already taking medications to help with the insulin resistant portion of PCOS. It's almost kind of like being pre-diabetic without actually being pre-diabetic. Your body just kind of reacts that way. So I've been taking something called metformin. A lot of diabetics take it. It's supposed to help with insulin, therefore kind of help with testosterone levels with PCOS that kind of affect all the other hormone levels that causes these similar issues. There is no cure for it. It is just kind of like a hormonal imbalance you deal with for the rest of your life, and just kind of find ways to live with it, unfortunately. The biggest thing it has impacted me has been basically us trying to have a kid, and also my weight. So I used to be overweight my whole life. I lost 80 pounds, kept it off for about 2 years, gained 10 pounds, and maintained that for like 5. And then I went on birth control, and that kind of messed up my hormones. I was feeling ill, just didn't like the way birth control felt. When I finally got rid of it, my weight was still continuing to go up. Went to my primary care provider, did a bunch of labs, found I had PCOS, and now we're here. So I have, within the last year of starting metformin, maintained the same weight for the last year, almost year and a half, which is good, but not necessarily good. I'm glad I haven't been gaining, but it's nearly impossible for me to lose anything, so I've kind of just been stuck chunky the last like 2 years. It's not my favorite thing, but we're working on it. And in regards to George's side, after we got done trying for 1 year, they did recommend for George to get tested. And George also has some issues that are also a factor into why we can't conceive a baby. So that's something we found out recently, maybe about 2 to 3 months ago. I'm probably not going to go into details just yet. I'm not sure what he's comfortable with. And again, I don't know if this video is going to be for public viewing or for just for us. Maybe for like if we ever have a baby and they're old enough, maybe show them like, this is what we went through, or this is how much we love you and care for you, and this is what we did to, eventually get you if we were to get a baby. But maybe we'll go into details another day, but essentially we both just have factors that are playing into this, which makes it so much fun. But yeah, and where we're at today is that we actually have an appointment with an REI, so basically just a reproductive endocrinologist specialist. After trying for 1 year, my OBGYN was only able to put me on a medication called letrozole. And letrozole is it's actually meant for patients who have, I believe, dealing with hormones or something. I think it's hormone related for patients who are going through breast cancer. And what found out with taking that medication, there were patients with breast cancer who were accidentally getting pregnant. And so kind of easily conceiving, not easily conceiving, but it's like ovulation inducing as a side effect. They found out works, and they use that for patients with PCOS or another medication called Clomid, but letrozole has the higher rate of live births than Clomid does, but everybody's different. Everybody responds to those differently. I took letrozole for 3 months, for 3 cycles, and 2 of the 3 cycles the medication worked. 1 cycle it did not, and saying it worked just basically meaning it did its job in helping me ovulate, which, if I didn't clarify, with PCOS, because your hormones are imbalanced, you don't ovulate, and so therefore if you don't ovulate, you can't get pregnant, nor do you really get periods. And I haven't really had periods majority of my life, so another factor that plays into that. But I did that, and but just because of George's issues, even on the months that the medication worked, we still weren't able to conceive. So we know the medication works for what we tested, and now we're meeting with a reproductive endocrinologist, because after those 2 rounds of letrozole, technically my OBGYN can't really help us any further with anything else, and it has to go into a specialist's hands. And I'm excited because usually we booked this appointment before I even finished my rounds of letrozole, or I think even before I started. And the appointment was like 4 months out, and I know now these days getting anywhere into for a doctor's appointment is really hard, but I was so impatient. But thankfully there was a cancellation with one of the doctors that I did want to see, and so I was able to get in a month earlier, and it's like right at the end of my last round of letrozole. I know it worked, doing what it was supposed to do, but of course we're not expecting, so we're gonna meet with them today. I don't know how it's gonna go. I think I kind of have an idea, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll probably update this afterwards, probably tomorrow, after we kind of have a better idea and have time to think about it, and speak with the doctor. It's a 1-hour consultation, so I'm pretty excited. I think we might need to go into advanced medical help right away, but not entirely sure. But I will update that later, and yeah, we'll see. We have to go pick up one of our guinea pigs who had tumor surgery today. So after this appointment, we're gonna go there, and I may update kind of what else everything is gonna be, either tomorrow or Friday. I don't know yet, but we'll do that. We'll see. Good afternoon. So this is 2 days later. We did go to the reproductive endocrinologist. Essentially, it was about an hour-long virtual appointment. We went with the doctor, super nice. I was kind of hoping to come out with a game plan of what we need to do right away. I was thinking maybe, okay, you've guys done all this testing, we're gonna go ahead and get you set up for IUI right away. If those don't work, maybe IVF. That's kind of what I was thinking was gonna play, how this was all gonna play out. Not at all. So they want to do more extensive testing. So for George, they want him to do a repeat semen analysis, just because his first one is abnormal, and whenever it's abnormal, they always want to do a repeat. So I think he called him today and got that set up. I don't know for when exactly. He also is trying to set up getting disease testing done, because we're kind of like with a fertility clinic. They have to make sure we don't have any STD diseases or stuff, sexually transmitted diseases, and they want to do a panel to make sure we don't have that. So even though we don't, it is a requirement, so we have to get that done. And they also, for me, they want me to get a HSG done. I cannot pronounce the whole word for that, so it's essentially just a an ultrasound or an x-ray where they either put in, it can be either or, and they put in either dye or saline depending on which form of this you have done, and they just look to see if my tubes are blocked, and if my tubes are blocked, if I have any polyps or anything else that could be interfering with us trying to conceive or keeping us from conceiving. And I have to get that scheduled, but I can't get it scheduled until the first day of my period starts, which I think is sometime this weekend. So we'll see. But once I get that scheduled, I'll also need to do the same test for the sexual transmitted diseases, essentially. And they also want me to do like a preconception panel with like vitamin D. Gosh, I can't remember all the tests that they want. It's several. They also want us to do preconception genetic testing from both of us, just to make sure we're not carriers of like any kinds of diseases or abnormalities that could affect a child if we were to conceive, and see if we're carriers of those. Just see what our chances are. I hear it's very normal for everyone to be some form of carrier. It just depends if you and your partner carry those, are the same carriers of the same disease. It just gives you higher chances of having a child with those diseases. So they want us to do that. And they also wanted me to check and see if I really do have PCOS. They say a lot of it aligns with PCOS, and they're pretty sure that's what I have. But one of my hormones, it's like hydroprogesterone, something like that, that they want to get retested, but not with a reproductive endocrinologist, but they want me to go see an actual, just simple endocrinologist who, I think they deal with like diabetes and thyroid stuff. So I think they want to make sure and just confirm that it's not the other issue and it is PCOS. They just want to rule it out. So that's another appointment with a different doctor that I have scheduled already in the beginning of October, so about a month and a half from now. So it's not really until we get all these tests done are we really gonna know what's going on. So that can be depending on when we can get in and get this blood work done and everything else. I would say it's going to be anywhere between like 6 and 8 weeks. So more waiting. They did tell us though, just based off of George's semen analysis the first time, that if his repeat is consistent and they have their specialists look over it, that if it's as severe as we think it is, then we may need to go straight to IVF, which oddly enough I was trying to mentally prepare myself for within like the last year of us trying. And I don't know if it's because when we were trying, I was kind of looking at people who were trying to conceive as well, like on YouTube, and I came across this couple, and the only thing they could do was IVF. Even though they've tried everything else, they in the long run already knew they had to do IVF, even though their issues were completely different from ours. So when I started watching them, I kind of just put into my mind, like, if this is what I have to do, I want to familiarize myself with it. So I am kind of familiar with how IVF works and the whole gist of it, and I kind of already knew that that might be a route we have to go down, but now that it's kind of like semi-confirmed that IUI may not work and IVF is the step we're probably going to have to do, and probably the only one that will work for us, it's a little discouraging. Like, I get emotional thinking about it by myself, but when I sit here kind of talking to myself about it, or to you or whoever's watching this, I guess, it's a little bit easier for me to cope with it. So we'll see how that goes. I probably won't have any more updates till after that. I'm probably gonna look into see how to edit videos, because I haven't done anything like this since I was like in middle school, and editing programs and stuff have changed a lot since then. So I might look into that. But I mean, just trying to keep a positive mindset. If we do IVF, we're more than likely not going to be able to do it until next year. And honestly, I don't think we'll be able to do it locally either. But that's a conversation for another day. and I'll probably have George explain what his issues are later on too. He doesn't necessarily know I'm recording. He knew I kind of wanted to document our journey onto having a baby, but I don't think he figured I'd be recording. I didn't think I would either, but it's giving me kind of a peace of mind just to put it out there, whether this, like I said, if this ends up being public or private. But we'll check, and hopefully we have more answers soon. Yeah, and we'll go from there. But oh yeah, an update on the guinea pig. We picked her up. She's good. She has some pretty gnarly stitches and staples that she has to get removed in 2 weeks, but we'll go from there. But we'll see, and hopefully this journey gets easier, because right now it's feeling pretty hard. I'm already kind of over it, but we'll see. We'll keep pushing.